Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how you can make plaid to go for a background of a project, like a scrapbook page, a card, or just to kind of test out colors in your sketchbook like I did here. I just made this kind of facing plaid page to kind of match my little cupcake illustration there. This one is just kind of fooling around with a technique. This is another one that was just kind of playing with some really garish colors, and that was just me kind of developing the plaid technique. So what I'm going to do is show you a couple different ways you can make plaid so that hopefully it'll kind of inspire you and give you some ideas of what you can do when you are maybe stuck for ideas. Maybe you have some new materials that you want to play with and you're not sure where to go with them. I hope it's useful. So the first thing you're going to do is you want to get some brushes of different sizes, or maybe some pastel sticks broken into different sizes, something so you have a variety of line widths or nibs. I am going to start with a wide marker, and this is an Artex, a 15mm pen. It's a acrylic paint pen. I'm going to give it a shake. These are a lot of fun. I really enjoy kind of really bold sketching media. It just kind of, I don't know, it makes me feel like a kid again, and I find that if I'm feeling in a slump or I just want to warm up for the day of drawing, then this is a great way to do it. So I'm going to start by making some stripes on my paper, and I'm going to try to space them about a marker width apart here to create the base of my plaid. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't matter if you got shaky hands or you've got some wobbly lines. By the time you're done, it's going to be really cute. Just try to be as straight as you can, and then any sort of little wiggle in the line I think will be just very charming. Now, I'm probably going to be off a bit because generally when I'm doing this, I've got my head kind of over my my drawing so I can see kind of where I've gone. I can see exactly where that nib is going to come down. So mine's going to be a little off, and that's okay. Now, when you're going over that previous marker, especially the first marker you put on the paper, if the marker's still wet, it's going to drag. Your marker's going to feel like it drags. So I'm just going to give this a quick dry. Now, you could do this with the edge of a soft pastel or oil pastel, or with a paintbrush loaded with paint or ink. So seriously, use whatever you have. It doesn't matter at all. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to be going this way. I'm going to be going with perpendicular lines, and I've got a little piece of plastic so I can go right off the edge of my paper, and I'm not going to stick the sketchbook shut. This is just one of those clear plastic things that come with markers sometimes, but you can use a piece of paper or a page protector, or you can get these flexible cutting mats from the Dollar Tree that are really good for this. Anything to just protect those pages underneath so you don't stick them shut or accidentally get marker on some other artwork that you don't want marker on. All right, so that's our first layer. That's the base of our plaid. It looks like painter's tape, kind of, doesn't it? Now I'm going to pick another color that I think would look nice, and this is what I said about using this technique to play with color. So maybe you're like, I want to do a composition. I'm thinking I might want to use maybe a baby blue and maybe like a mint green. So I'm going to grab my mint green marker. Give it a shake. Always shake up these, you want to always shake up the acrylic markers unless they're the kind that don't have liquid ink in them, like they're like these brush tip ones. They have like a marker pad on the inside, a felt on the inside holding them. But I like the liquid ink ones. I don't know, I like them both, but I think you get a little bit more opaque ink and you get maybe more color in these, but honestly, I can't say for sure. I'm not 100% sure these have more ink in them, but I would think they would, you know, they don't have a pad holding stuff, you know? All right, so I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to go in between the lines I just made, and this marker is a little bit thinner. So if you're using pastels, maybe use the end of the pastel stick or a smaller piece of pastel, like smaller than the first piece. You just want a little bit of variety, all right? And I'm just going in between the blue lines I made, and I've got room to put one more on the edge, so I'm going to do that. I also think this would be really cute if you do, if you're like, you do the day planners, you know, the planning as a hobby. I think this would be a really fun way to make like dividers in your planners. I think this would be really cute because you take it right out to the edge. But it's also nice for dividers in sketchbooks. Maybe you want to divide, maybe you're done, you just did an art challenge and you want a divider to kind of show where that challenge ended and where your other sketchbook work begins. That would be a really fun thing to do. So again, here I'm going to go in between my dark blue lines. And I'll show you an offset plaid as well, but we're just going to do this, we're going to do this kind of symmetrical one first. You could even stop right here, you know, after this layer and have kind of like a gingham check. That looks kind of cute, you know, whatever you want to do. You can kind of straighten up too if you went a little off the time before and you're like, ooh, maybe I can straighten it up. Yeah, you totally can straighten it up. So now what I'm going to do is look for another color that I think would go really nice with this. Maybe like a springy green. I think that color might look really nice. I'm just giving this a quick dry, so I don't contaminate the nibs on my markers. These are 3mm, so we used a 15mm, then we used a 10mm, now we're using a 3mm, but if you have something that's, you know, like a 7mm, you got something a different size, go for it, you know. These are all fixed nibs. I could use a brush nib and just press a little bit more and get a wider nib too, so I mean that's always an option. In fact, actually, maybe I should try that. Do I have a springy green? Yeah, let me try that actually. You know what? Let's try it with a liquid, with one of the liquid markers, because I think they have a little bit more ink. We'll try that. Now, when you're using a brush nib, it's harder to keep a consistent line. So, you know, just kind of keep that in mind. If you have a tremor or some nerve damage in your hands, it may be hard to do this. You might want to just get a little bit wider of a marker or a brush or whatever. But I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to go over my blue. Oh yeah, this is going to be all right. I'm holding it at an angle, and I'm just going to drag it. Now, you'll notice some colors and some markers are more translucent than others, and you'll see your layers, which I think is really effective when you're doing plaids, because then it starts to look a little bit more like fabric. But I mean, you can do this on a smaller scale, like maybe you're painting a portrait of somebody and they have like a plaid shirt on, and you want to, you know, you want to kind of get that texture. It's a great way to do that. I'm going to try not to rest my hand on the paper because I don't want to smear it. This is a smooth mixed media paper. It's by Stillman & Byrne. It is their Nova series beige mixed media pad. And I'm kind of throwing everything I can at this sketchbook because it was kind of expensive and I don't really like it that much. I feel like the pages are too thin. So I'm just throwing all kinds of stuff at it, hoping to find a way that I really enjoy using it. All right, so now we're going to go with our, I don't know, this is probably a final color. Let's do maybe like a teal. I'm going to give this a good shake. And this time I'm going to go over the, light green there. You'll also notice that different colors and different types of markers have different glossiness to them too. I don't think I can fit that last one, that last row. I think I can do the top one though. There. And then if you want to embellish at all, you can add some dots or something. Maybe I will do like a white dot in the center of each of the big green ones. This can get kind of confusing if you have actually a bigger dot than this would be good, but this can get kind of confusing if you don't have a really bold, if your last lines weren't really bold, it could be very confusing to where you put the dots. And then you've got a really cute pattern. I think any little wibbly wobbly bits look kind of cute. There, I think that looks so fun. Now if you want to do kind of a more offset pattern, we'll do that too. So let me just take that out, and we'll work on this side here because that's still wet. I don't feel like drying it right now. This time, let's start with a red. Maybe we'll do like a Christmas type of plaid. And we're going to start off just like we did before. And you can play with the spacing. I think I'll do the spacing a little bit wider on this one. But again, we're going to start with our base. And I try to do this in one swoop if I can, so I don't have to go back over it. Because if I have to go back over it, then it changes the opacity of the color. Look how much more this one curls up. I'm not sure why that's curling up so much more, because maybe because I have something on the back side. I don't know. All right, now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go this way. But I'm going to try to keep that spacing about the same. So I'm trying to make squares in between. That's how I can kind of tell if I'm getting it about right. There's a little wonky, but that's all right. All right, so the next color I want to do, I'm going to go with a smaller nib. And I'm going to go with a green, like I said, kind of do like a Christmassy thing. But this time, instead of putting it straight in the middle, I'm going to put it right up next to the first line. Just leave a little sliver. So see, we're getting this kind of offset pattern now. This neon is very transparent, so it makes a third color when it crosses over that red, which I think also gives it that very fabric-y look, because you always see the weaves going together. You'll see the two colors getting woven together, and it gives you that fabric-like look. Just want to get that right on the edge because the pattern would repeat right there. Oops. Okay, then we're gonna go again. We're gonna stay close to, that's why I turn it each time so I don't forget where I'm going. We're gonna stay close to now. I'm not a fabric designer or a plaid designer or tartan designer or anything. This is just me fooling around and what's worked for me. So there could be like some actual rhyme or reason for plaid design that I don't know. I just want to put that out there. Okay, then I think I will grab a white affixed nib here, and I am going to dry it so I don't end up messing up my nibs. And this time I think I'm going to go through all of the lines that I did, because I think that would give it a really nice kind of tartany look. But I mean, you could take a paintbrush, like take a foam paintbrush, load it up with ink, and do this on a Christmas present or a birthday present. How cute would that be on just some big white or tan butcher paper to make your own wrapping paper? That would be so cute, and you could have it totally match, you know, the recipient's favorite colors. So, I mean, just think of the different ways that you could do this. So when I put this over the red, I can go straight in the middle or I can go on the edge of it. I think I'll go offset of it. And I think I'll do all my reds first so I don't get confused. So I'm going to go to the edge of the red closest to the green, you know, instead of smack dab in the center. Whatever you choose for a background color too, if you're doing this on a colored paper, will be kind of another color in your design. Again, turning it so I don't get confused. And I'm going to go again next to the green. I'm going to try not to get my hand in it. But you know, I mean, you don't have to go to one side or the other. You just choose it and repeat it. Just make a choice and repeat it each time, and that's how you're going to get a nice looking design. Whoops, right over the edge there. And then on the green, I think I will go right through the middle of the green. I could stick with this white, or I could go with another color. Oh, what do I want to do? I think I'll stick with the white, actually. Yeah, I think I'll stick with the white. I'm going to go right down the middle of the green with the white. And if you get confused, don't worry. It's just it's a fun exercise. Let's see, would we have that way? I think we'd be able to sneak that in there. And then I think I can manage to go in the middle of the green like that. And if you're not happy with how it looks, keep adding until you are. And you'll end up with a really cool texture on that paper too. So there's an offset. Of course, you can get more offset. You can use wider brushes. You can do whatever you want. It's fun. It's just a great way to play with colors and see what you can come up with. I hope you enjoyed this quick plaid DIY. Let me know if you're going to try it in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy quick little projects like this. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.